play Biome. Now, this game is all about creating your animal tableau. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell, because board games are amazing, and that's what we do here at Legends of Nirvana. Now, Randy, can you tell us a little bit more about Biome?
I can. 2024 release. It's got a Board Game Geek rating of 7.8, a rank of 6820. It's a 1 to 4 player game, average length of 60 to 90 minutes, age 10 and up. That's probably about right, although there's a lot of iconography and a lot of text on the cards. You might have some, for the younger audience, might have some issues trying to interpret some of that. The design is by Leonie Grundler. Art is by Jessica Apel and Gregors Sueck. Published by a new company I've not heard of, Lioness Games. I think it's their first game. The Kickstarter Deluxe version was $69 for what you got here. There's a standard version that was $59. Right now on the Geek Market you can get this new for $65, but I don't know if it's this version or the standard. I'm guessing it's the standard.
Yeah.
And then like new for $55. Its pre-orders are up on several sites, the cheapest being Card House. Card House has it for $55.99 for the standard edition, or $71.99 for the deluxe. So it's not much more than what the Kickstarter was. Gamers Guild AZ, I'm presuming as Arizona, has the pre-order for the standard for $58.64, and then it goes up from there. So.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about quality of components. Okay. The biggest thing is, look at these birds' nests.
Those are pretty cool.
Like, I'm nervous though about them breaking.
Yeah, some of them don't look like they're raveled well.
So that's
I don't think they'll break so much as unravel.
Well, still slightly concerned. But looks super cool. You've got your cards, a lot of cards. They do have a linen finish. I think they're actually pretty good thickness on that front. Then you have these shaped resources, if you will. So those are pretty cool.
And you got chickies and bunnies that have a little bit of screen printing on them with eyes and little wings, but that's it.
Yes. I'm happy with it though. They're cute.
Yeah.
And then we have a spinner. Why did we even use that spinner?
That's part of one of the expansions we'll talk about. There's a little old style generic die. There's a coin that's for flipping for some of the cards for heads or tails on it, but it's really hard to read the heads or tails, but it's a metal coin.
Yeah. Overall, I think it looks really nice. I mean, you also have your cubes, but you have a bag for your cubes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. My only grievance is, I mean, I understand why they did it. They wanted to preserve the environment, so they went with these storage that's in these egg carton style. And these things are biodegradable, I presume, which is not good for storage long term. So these things are very flimsy. And, I mean, they do the job now, but they don't have a good texture to them, and I'm afraid they're not going to hold up over time.
Well, I mean, most people don't keep their games like you do. Yeah. Forever.
I would think most people do when they get their game in their collection. If they like it, they're going to keep it.
True. All right, so overall, I'm happy with the quality of components. I do think, there is something that stands out, and those are the nests. I am a little concerned about them eventually dying over handling, especially if you have little children. They're going to want to steal them. So for me, I'm probably going to give this an 8.5. I think they did a great job. I'm not mad about anything.
I was thinking more of a 7.5, mainly because of the storage mechanisms, and I don't think there's anything that really wows you apart from the nests. And I think those nests were like available as add-ons for the Wingspan. I think you could get them for that. So I don't think it's outstanding, but it's cool what you get. So I think 7.5 is a fair score.
Okay. All right. So moving on to the actual theme. The theme is that you are moving animals into your biome, and not just animals, but also plants. You're trying to make sure that your animals have places to live if necessary. So like I have birds and rabbits that obviously need the trees. for a home for them to survive. But I also got some predators out there, as well as some other plants that will give food and protection to some of these smaller animals. Mostly protection, as far as the game mechanic go. The cards, like seeing all the cool, there's a lot of cool animals on this. I think that was kind of cool. I like the artwork. I think it's semi-realistic, but yet still kind of cartoony. I enjoy it. I don't know if I'm wowed by it, but I think it's great. I think it all makes sense thematically, so I'm probably going to give this an 8. I think, yeah.
I think 8's fair because they tried to incorporate kind of the lifespan and of the seasons and how the animals.
When you're producing young, and then you're feeding the young, and then you get victory points for doing that.
If you play the advanced game, which is on the other side, you actually have events in the winter, like that you can only produce one food because it's more scarce, and your reptiles are no longer actionable because they're,
hibernating.
Well, I guess I don't know if it's hibernate. They call it brumation, is what they call it.
Yeah, whatever it is.
And then in the fall, you've got other. Things like you can't have 2 of the same food item. That one I don't really see the tie, but I think they tried to fit kind of the seasonal aspects of the game to so I think it makes sense from that perspective. So I think probably an 8's a good score.
Okay, all right. So moving on to the rule book. How was that, Randy?
The rulebook is pretty easy to read. It's a 16-page rulebook, but you don't have to read all that to get into the game. The setup is 2 pages, then it goes into how to play, and that goes from page 3 up to page 7, and that's really all you need in order to play the game. Then it gives you some examples of the actions on the cards, then it goes into all the different variants, and this has a lot. So first of all, the other side of the board has the advanced game, which has all seasons active. And then they have a bountiful biome expansion that was Kickstarter exclusive that lets you basically play cards onto your board that will, if you play a specific animal type or plant type onto the card that tells you what to play there, then you get a bonus perk for playing there. And then you have the natural disasters, which is the spinner. That's, I guess, the piece I don't like the most. I hate spinners, first of all, and they become unbalanced over time if they're not already unbalanced when you get them typically. So I don't like spinners for that reason, but that's the way they chose to go with this. So that determines which disasters you get in the summer and winter, and it affects everybody. Then you have you've got variants on each of those where you can add in like private achievements, which is basic stuff. But yeah, I mean those are the 3 big ones. And then you have the solo mode, which goes for 2 pages, credits, and then a short how to play on the back. And you got these cheat sheets that take care of most of the stuff. There's not everything on here, but we found a few things that were missing. But
no, overall I thought it was pretty good.
Overall it works pretty well. So I think they did a nice job communicating how to play, getting you into the game quickly. So I'm going to give it an 8.
So let's move on to gameplay. So the gameplay, luckily these cheat sheets are super helpful. So first I'm going to see if I have 8 cards in my hand. I do not. I only have 2. So I'm going to pick up 2 cards. Randy's also going to pick up 2 cards.
At the start of the game you would have 3 cards at the beginning.
Yeah, but I'm actually going to be able to play my last card on my tableau, so we're going to finish out this game.
Full.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about it.
You still won.
All right, so I've got my cards, and then I'm going to draw 2 cards, and I'm going to collect 2 resources of my choice. I know that I am probably going to need food later, so I'm going to pick, and I know what I have to pay for the cost of my card, so I will pick 2 plants. Why? I don't know. Sounds like an idea. All right, then I'm going to play a card. So I'm going to take this card, I'm going to play 2 berries and 2 leaves, and I'm going to place the grizzled tree kangaroo. So, okay, I'm going to place that here. I'll get 7 victory points now. Except we're not.
Yeah, we've already ended the game, so there's no point adding score to yours.
But I want them. Anyway, all right, then we're going to do a seasonal event. Seasonal events will change over time. Right now, where are we at? In the winter?
Yeah, in this case, we're playing a base game, so the winter, there was no seasonal event.
So we don't have to worry about that. Then I get to activate a card. So I'm going to take one of my cubes. Now, once you activate a card, you can never activate it again. It is a one-time only activation. Makes you sad inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go here. For each plant, I receive 2 victory points to a max of 10. I have 5. I don't have to spend them. I just have to have them. So I would get another 10 victory points right there. So after that, we rotate starting player because I started, because I drew first.
Season.
He would get the fox. And then you would do that again. So the seasonal things also add a little bit difference because I specifically kind of want to go over nests and birds and things. So obviously you'll see there are different colored cards. So the blue have to be in the blue, the brown have to be in the brown, and the green have to be in the green. Please note that some cards have 2 colors.
Yep.
So like this one has this blue and this tan. So just be aware of that. They can go in either one.
Also cards that let you change a terrain type. So if you have burned through all of your marsh area and you wanted more, you can actually play one of those cards that tells you can change something into a marsh and put it into one of the other, the other areas, and it will become a marsh space.
Yeah, if you want to. All right, so now the thing is to do note that my red-shouldered hawk and my pygmy rabbit both need nests. So we're going to pretend that this is currently spring. So I'm going to need another nest, babe. All right, so I got 2 nests here. I'm allowed 2 nests on this oak tree, so that actually works out. So I'm going to place them. And the plant has to be adjacent to the things that actually need it for it to be considered a house. And it has to have an actual nest icon on the card, like you see here on this side. All right, so... All right, now I'm going to put offspring. So on the card in a feather area, it will tell how many offspring that I'm supposed to put. I'm supposed to put 3 hawks in here. And then I'm supposed to put 6 of these pygmy rabbits. 4, 5, 6.
Those will be yummy.
Nay, nay. All right. I got another tree over here that I'm going to do the same thing with. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I already have 1 in there.
Yes, so you'll get 5.
Yep. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So this is one seasonal event. Is just getting, your younglings out. Now, in the next round, you'll have another event, and our bunnies and our birds are growing up. But alas, predators are out there, and they are seeking your young, aka the other players are going to eat your birds for victory points. Shame on them.
Or bunnies.
Or bunnies. Our daughter has given strict instructions to Randy that he's not allowed to eat the bunnies. We'll see how this goes.
They're
All
Easter
right.
bunnies.
All right.
Chocolate
so,
Easter bunnies.
Randy, you have a predator. What predators do you have, and how does this work?
I have a marsh predator, so it means I can only eat in the marsh area. And I have to roll a die, and I check to see how many plants you have in your marsh. And
I
you've
have
got
2.
So I have to roll higher than a 2 in order to eat. So let's roll. I got a 6, so I get to eat. Yum, yum. So each predator can eat 2 offspring, and I'm going to take 2 bunnies just because you just said that.
Our
you
daughter's
get
gonna be mad.
2 victory points per each animal you consume. Now, after the predators eat, now the animals can grow up and leave, but you have to pay a food of the type that the card costs.
Right. So right now I have, for example, have 5 plants and 1 bug. So for example, I'm going to feed my 1 bug to the bufflehead. All right, so that's 1. Then I've got 5 plants, so I'm going to take the 5 bunnies that are left and feed those 5 bunnies. And so that...
4 bunnies. I ate 2.
All right, well, then I'm going to get a pygmy bunny.
Okay.
All right. And then I don't have any rats for my red hawks, so I don't have any availability to feed them. So right now I have 6 animals, so I will get 12 victory points for making these adults. I put them back in the thing, and I move up the track.
So then after that, the vultures come in and eat any
Which
animals.
you do have a vulture, don't you?
I have a vulture in the prairie, and I thought I had more than that. Maybe that's the only vulture I got.
Yeah, that's the only vulture you have. There's only 2 vultures in the game, you said.
No, I don't think that's true.
Oh.
No, I've got a vulture over here too.
Okay.
So the vultures then come in and they swoop in and eat the animals that are left behind, and they get 1 victory point per animal that they consume and a card. So the vultures scavenge and they get 1 victory point and 1 card for each animal in their terrain type that they can
From 1 player.
get.
So if you're playing with multiple players, they have to pick the player that they're going to be scavenging from. So in my case, his brown vulture is probably going to be scavenging this. So
I would get 3 and so that 5?
Yep.
8 victory points.
Now, mind you, I
there.
probably should have fed them over the other if I had known, but alas.
Yep.
So you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you get 8.
Yep.
So.
Well, they get 8.
Well, the vulture gets 8.
The vulture would eat 8. Get them.
All right. So now that round is over, and Randy would have gotten his 8 cards, and
then all the nests
points,
are removed, and you clear all the animals.
So it is important to make sure you feed your baby birds, because that does leave you open to losing points to another player because of producing and not being able to feed them. So overall, what do you think?
You know, I like the concept of this. I like the way the actions work. That's my favorite part of it when you play the tableau. You can score a lot of points that way. You can score a lot of points by building up your animals. I managed to get every one of the target goals, and you still beat me by a point. So you got a lot of points from animals that you were able to get.
Well, honestly, the biggest thing is I got this 1 card right there at the end for each of the lion symbol. I got 2 points, and that was 16 or 18 points.
Yeah.
Which was huge.
Yep.
But I had been building up. I got that the round 1, and so I was and I had a bunch of lions, and I'm like, oh, I'll just keep pushing all these out. And then I also got a lot of victory points, because especially that first breeding phase, you didn't have very many, but I was able to do a bunch there too. So I actually liked the fact that I didn't have to worry about in-game scoring and still won, because that's typically my downfall.
I'm obsessed with in-game scoring, so I have to do it.
So what's your score?
I'm probably going to give this one, originally I was thinking a 7. I'm going to go 7.5, because I think the add-on of the mechanics of all the different advanced versions and stuff is going to add enough variety to the game to keep this to the table longer. And I do think that, I think there's some nice combos you can do with your cards that we haven't taken advantage of yet. So I'm going to give it a 7.5. I think it might go up to an 8 at some point, but at this point I think it's 7.5. I
kind of agree with that. I'm good with the 7.5. It is a very interesting tableau builder to kind of keep in track of all the things, do I want to put a plant? Do I want to put an animal? What kind of animal do I want to put? Do I want to, but then also part of it is what cards are you dealt, right? So I think that's a very interesting. Oh, the one thing we didn't mention is you can trade 2 cards at any time for a resource of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually 2 of any resource, of the same resource, you could choose another resource.
Yeah.
I typically use that with cards.
Yeah, in the advanced game that changes. You have to trade 3 for 1 for resources. It's still 2 for 1 for cards, but 3 for 1 for resources.
I'm okay with that, because I needed all my resources. But I did need, you end up with too many cards, which is fine. Especially because you can trade them in for resources, and it helps you filter through the deck to be able to get more of a ability to choose what you're going to put down. Yeah. So on that front, happy with it. I agree with you. I feel. So yeah, I agree with you. 7.5, I think, is a good score for this. I liked it. I had a lot of fun. And I think it'd be a lot more interesting to play with more players, especially with that predator prey aspect. I think that would keep it.
Yeah.
There is one thing that you were concerned about, is maybe somebody picking on somebody.
Yeah, because you could all target the same person, But I think there's impetus not to do that unless that person is running away with it with the animals.
Which that does give you some control.
Yeah,
so
it limits the capability of rushing, just flooding animals out there because you're going to be more at the mercy of predators then.
Yeah, yeah.
And that makes sense from a nature standpoint too. If you've got a lot of babies running around out there, they're more at risk.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast today. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.